You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Saturday the 19th of July 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And literally about a minute before I recorded this, I finished reading Empress of the Trees and I'm really pleased with it. Obviously up until now I think the most I'd read in a day was 2 or 3 chapters, and that's when I was doing multiple sign-offs, during a live stream. So this is the first time that I've read the whole book. It's taken me 3 days to do, and that's kind of doing a little bit of editing as I go along, because I knew, it's weird, but seeing it actually in a book, mistakes, actually no, because there were hardly any mistakes, which I was very pleased about, but there were just things that I thought I could word a little bit better, a couple of little word repetitions that I hadn't noticed first time round, just little tweaks. The only chapter that I kind of had to spend quite a lot of time on was chapter 34. I'm not going to go into the details of what happens in that chapter, but basically there was a little bit a sequence that I was uncertain of, so I rewrote it, and then I thought no, it was better as it was, and then I changed it a couple more times, and it felt so different to what it was originally in the book. I thought that one chapter needed another, paper printout and sign off. And thankfully, I read through it, and yeah, it was fine. So it's weird because it is much bigger and it feels bigger, and more literally weighty, and I would say also more weighty in story terms than anything I've written before. I'm really looking forward to see what everybody thinks of it. There's still 3 people that I think may be to read for me that I've been too chicken to speak to, but I really need to get a move on. Now I could say that that's it, it's signed off, it's done, and it sort of is, but what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, and I'm going to do this over the next couple of days, is I'm going to run the whole thing through a grammar checker, it's going to be Grammarly again. I might even do that as part of a live stream, actually, or a couple of live streams. And all I'm going to do is run the edited material through that just to make sure, because the thing is, when you change stuff, it's very easy to make little mistakes. I will give you an example. Luckily, I picked up on it, but if I hadn't, then the Grammarly check would have picked up on it. I managed to spell the name Claire, which is one of my characters that comes into the latter quarter of the book, differently. So because basically I wrote the book in 2 blocks, I think I might have mentioned this thing before actually about Claire's name. But yeah, so up until chapter 32 it's spelt C-L-A-R-E. And then from chapter 33 onwards it's got an I in it, C-L-A-I-R-E, which is fine. And it's easy using find and replace to change it. So I thought, I'll do that. Find and replace, change C-L-A-R-E to C-L-A-I-R-E. Now, what I forgot, I don't know whether it's just that I did it wrong or that this isn't a setting. I assumed it would only find and replace stuff with a capital C because that's what I put into find and replace. But it didn't. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but basically the word declare and declared suddenly was spelt wrongly with an extra I and a capital C in it on every occasion in the book. Now, obviously, again, that was easy to correct with find and replace, which I've now done. I probably ought to just look up C-L-A-R-E just to be on the safe side, to make sure that I haven't had any other words unintentionally messed up. I mean, that one's repaired. I'm trying to think of any other little fixes I did. There's multiple scenes where a tree spirit inhabits a human being, and I seem to have two different ways of dealing with that, again, depending on when I wrote it. So in the first half of the book, or the first part of the book where I did this, I would refer to them by their real name. So if Cynewulf was inhabiting Clare, I would call them Clare. Whereas in the later half of the book, if Cynewulf was inhabiting Clare, once that inhabiting was taking place, I would refer to them as Cynewulf. And I think that latter version is better. So again, I had to go through and change quite a few of those. But no, all in all, I mean, it's quite a wow moment actually, because I've been working on the thing since November 2019, and it's basically done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split up the chapters that I've got. I've got the corrected version as a Word document. I'm going to put that back into Pages, which is what I tend to use. It's the Mac version of Word. And then split it up into individual chapters. And I shall run those individual chapters through Grammarly before putting it all together again. And that will be the signed off version of the second draft. Like I said to you before, I may have to change things as a result of feedback. There is one thing that's been concerning me, and that's one of the bad guys. We don't see his death on page, but the more I think about it, the more I'm comfortable with that, because he's not the main bad guy. He's like the secondary bad guy, and we do absolutely see the main bad guy die on the page. In fact, his death is rather unpleasant and probably unbroadcastable if it ever got adapted into a TV show. They'd probably have to change exactly where the trees stab him. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm done, and yet obviously I'm not quite, because, sorry, this has gone over my 6 minutes. But anyway, so I'm going to break it down into the individual chapters. I'm going to run it all through Grammarly again, then reassemble it. That will be second draft version 2, and that's the version that will be going out to my beta readers, especially when I contact the last 3. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back at some point tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.